Manny wasn't tripping when she said that everyone was jealous of her. They absolutely were jealous of her.
Let's take over the whole world. That's what we're made for.
Hey everyone, Bianca Melrose here. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about my unpopular Degrassi opinions. These are just my own opinions. I'm entitled to have an opinion. If you don't agree with it, that's fine. We can agree to disagree. Okay, so let's get into these opinions. So everyone says that Manny Santos from Degrassi walked so that Maddie Perez from Euphoria could run. And honestly, I don't get the Manny and Maddie comparisons, aside from them both being two brown women of color. Truth be told, Manny's character reminds me more of Cassie than Maddie. Manny and Cassie both have major daddy issues. They're both very insecure, and they were both involved with guys that they knew damn well they should not have been involved with. For example, Manny knew that Craig had a girlfriend, not that I'm letting Craig off the hook because he was trifling, and Cassie knew that Nate was Maddie's ex, who Maddie was still very much in love with. Not that I'm letting Nate off the hook, because his ass is crazy, but I'm just making a point here. I think that Manny is, character-wise, a lot more like Cassie than she is Maddie. I don't get the comparisons at all. And truth be told, they don't even really look that much alike, so I really extra don't get the comparisons. Okay, this might be a controversial one, but Manny wasn't tripping when she said that everyone was jealous of her. They absolutely were jealous of her.
Shut up! She's jealous.
She was arguably the hottest girl in school, and all of their boyfriends were checking for her. Craig was checking for her, Spinner was checking for her, JT was checking for her, Peter was checking for her. All of the boys were checking for Manny Santos. That's just a fact. I mean, realistically, how could there not have been just a little bit of jealousy? I'm sorry, but Craig was only cute up until season 3. After that, he started looking old. He damn sure didn't look like he was in high school anymore. Degrassi didn't even try to give their black characters interesting storylines or interesting character arcs. I mean, it was just like the writers just didn't care about the black characters. It was like the black characters were just there to be there so that they could say that they have black characters. Even main black characters like Liberty, Jimmy, and Marisol were constantly sidelined and or given poor storylines that were either totally stereotyped or just not interesting. Oh, and I forgot to include Mike Dallas in that as well. Again, we're talking about poor storylines. We're talking about stereotypical storylines that just could have been way better. And honestly, it felt like the black characters were intentionally given uninteresting storylines as to not take away from the popularity of the other characters, especially the white ones. Degrassi Next Class Season 2, you know the one I'm talking about, the one that was predominantly about race, or tried to be at least, was done very poorly, and the entire season ended up centering whiteness. The season centered whiteness, particularly around the character of Frankie. When it centered the season around Frankie and around whiteness instead of actual issues of racism and the people that racism affects, that's problematic. This would have been a great opportunity for Degrassi to utilize one of its black characters, one of the other race characters, and to do a more realistic storyline about race, but they really dropped the ball here. And I don't understand why, because they had the characters to do it, but they, again, as they did in previous seasons, just chose not to. This season just did not do enough for me when it absolutely could have. All of the adults from Degrassi The Next Generation were extremely immature. I mean, they were immature AF. They were more immature than the students at Degrassi half the time. The love triangle between Caitlin and Joey and Sydney was a little ridiculous. It was even more ridiculous and childish than the love triangle that was going on between Craig, Manny, and Ashley at the time. That's a damn shame. Ellie was a hater, period. Holly J was annoying AF. Claire and Eli were the most overrated characters in Degrassi history, honestly. Honestly, I did not get their popularity at all. They were so overexposed. They were overexposed as a couple. They were overexposed as characters in the show. I was sick of seeing them every 5 seconds. It was like every episode was about them. It was tiring, really. Way too many episodes focused on them and their boring relationship. Claire not knowing who her baby daddy was trifling, and if that had been a black character, they would have sworn to God she was ghetto, and the fans would have roasted her, the characters in the show would have roasted her. It would have been never ending. Mr. Simpson wasn't shit for cheating on Spike, and then asking her daughter Emma and her best friend Manny to keep his cheating a secret. He was out of his mind for that. Sean should have never snatched up Ellie's mom like that. Sure, her mom shouldn't have slapped the shit out of Sean like that either, but they were both out of pocket in that situation. Sean, to me, was extra out of pocket because he started it. I know he was trying to protect Ellie, but you don't put your hands on anybody, okay? Especially an older woman. JT's obsession with getting to date Manny, or trying to date Manny and then trying to have sex with her, was really disturbing and very out of pocket. It was really weird and predatory how he felt that she owed him sex just because she'd done it with Craig before. JT's character was dealt with poorly when it came to how he treated Manny. Sure, he was a good guy most of the time, but that shit he pulled with Manny should have been dealt with. I think that the actress that played Paige was the strongest actress on the show, and the actor that played Craig was the strongest actor on the show for sure. Degrassi did Hazel dirty AF. They know damn well that girl had a lot more potential than just being Paige's black sidekick. Sean's ghetto bad boy thing was kind of lame and dry after a while. And what was up with that comment he made about not being able to relate to Shakespeare? Sean pushing Emma down on the ground like that at the end of season 1, Degrassi the Next Generation, that plot line was not taken seriously enough. He needed more ramifications for putting hands on her. I don't care if it was a mistake. I don't care if he didn't mean to do it. Sean should have been dealt with. Spinner should have absolutely beat Dean's ass. Period. Paige was way too good for Spinner. I can't believe she let that boy get away with what he got away with. Matt definitely took advantage of Paige, and he should have been arrested. He was trifling. He was inappropriate. He was in a position of power. He was her teacher. He should have been exposed. He should have been fired, and he should have been arrested. Marisol was one of the most interesting black characters that the show had. Marisol was more interesting than Katie, and she had mad main character energy. Marisol should have been the main character. Katie should have been the sidekick, but they weren't about to do that because Marisol was black and Degrassi kept her in her place as the black best friend. Period. The Manny, Craig, and Ashley love triangle was way more interesting and entertaining than the Drew, Bianca, and Katie love triangle. It just wasn't giving what Craig, Manny, and Ashley's gave. Katie absolutely took advantage of Drew when he was too drunk to consent, and for some reason, Degrassi chose not to go into that, and that would have been actually a really good and probably iconic episode had they chosen to go there. They should have. And last but not least, Drew's mom, Audra, was annoying AF. She was ignorant, she was annoying, she was making Drew into a mama's boy. Okay, so these are my unpopular Degrassi opinions. Let me know what you think in the comments, if you agree, if you disagree, respectfully of course. And let me know what your unpopular Degrassi opinions are. Thanks for watching. Mwah.